Hi guys, today I'm going to teach you how to play the guard position in a 2-1-2 or 2-3 zone defense. It is important to know that when you're playing in a zone defense, you're playing as one team, not necessarily one player. This means you have to understand your role and the overall goal of a zone defense because it is very different than a man-to-man defense. A zone defense's goal is to force the offensive team to take low percentage shots. The zone defense is very good at denying any high percentage shots within the paint, like layups or just really close range shots, but it does not do well against long range shots. So that's why you normally see in college or the NBA, it's strictly man defense, because at that skill level, an uncontested three-point shot has almost a higher percentage than a contested layup. But in high school and especially middle school, zone defense is very common because it's easier to play and it's less punishing on an individual player. So what are the advantages of a zone defense over a man-to-man defense? The first advantage is that it protects against mismatches, which means that in a man defense, the opposite team is going to try to set picks against players defending their players. So this is going to cause defending guards and stuff to have to switch players, because when you get picked like this and someone comes from behind and the person in front of you gets away, you have to end up just guarding the person next to you and you have to make a switch. Now, in a man defense, this could cause a center to guard a short guard, and this is what's called a mismatch. And in a zone defense, you don't have this because no one's playing on a specific man, and your big men are always going to be down low. They never come out super far. Another advantage is that this defense, because it's so centered around the paint, it's going to take away almost all high percentage shots. Layups are going to be extremely hard unless the zone collapses, and any shots within the paint are going to just be swarmed with friendly defenders. Another really important reason why the zone defense is used, and it is used sometimes in the high levels of basketball because of this, and this is because it could minimize the fouls on an individual player, and it can minimize team fouls sometimes. So the reason why it's important to minimize player fouls on an individual is because you can foul out of a game, and in a zone defense you do have help, so this could allow another player to foul for you if you have to, or just not having to foul one-on-one because you do have help defense. Where in man-to-man defense, if you're getting beat all day by the same player, you're going to end up fouling out because you're going to foul him to stop him from scoring. So the specific play we're going to be talking about is the pass to the wing. So this is going to be the point guard, and this is going to be the wing, and this is going to be pretty much us, the guard. And this is what a 2-3 zone defense looks against like a 1-2-2 offense. So you're going to have the point guard, two wings, and two big men down low. This is a pretty standard offense. The only other offense you will see used against the zone a lot of the time is a 1-3-1. And the 1-2-2 does shift into a 1-3-1 with, say the pass goes here, normally this guy cuts up here to make it a 1-3-1. But you're in this scenario, and what do you do? So before you could make any decision, the first thing you have to understand is just the goals of the wing player in general. The goal of the wing player is to, one, either pass it into the post to get a high percentage shot. If he could get around you, there's going to be no defenders between you and his post player. And if he could get the ball into the post quickly, this is going to result in a layup against his own defense, which is exactly what you don't want. And his second main goal is maybe to create a high percentage shot or make a good pass. So the good passes from him are going to almost always be to the post, and him creating a shot is normally going to be beating around you. So, but before you can even think about defending against these passes, you do have to understand the state of the game. And the most important things to know are what the shot clock and the game clock is, the score of the game, the number of individual fouls you have and team fouls, and the specific player receiving the pass. The shot clock is really important to know, because this is going to be one of the main factors that decides if the wing player is going to attempt to create a good shot or maybe just shoot a shot. If you don't know what a shot clock is, this is a clock that happens on every possession. It's about 30 seconds in college and high school. And if you don't get a shot off before it reaches 0, it's a turnover. And if you shoot the ball and have an offensive rebound, the clock does reset. But the idea behind this is that if you're defending against a wing player in a zone defense and there's 3 seconds on the shot clock, the chances of that wing player shooting a shot go up dramatically, and this will cause you to press him and go up on him much more. Whereas most teams against the zone defense like to set up some type of offensive play to create an open man. So this is in part slowing down the offense. So if there's 20 seconds on the shot clock and you see them calling a play and the first pass is to the wing, you're not too scared of him shooting the ball. And if he does shoot a deep 3, you're going to take that 9 out of 10 times in the zone defense, because that's the shot you want the defense to take eventually. The game clock is important, because just like the shot clock, this could happen at the end of the game, 3 seconds left, same type of thing. But it's also important because if there's, say, 5 minutes on the clock and your team is down by a lot of points, the other team is down by a lot of points, you're going to see them speed up their offense. No team is going to run, a 25-second offense each possession. If there's 5 minutes in the game and they're down by 17, you're going to see them trying to create very quick shots to try to get back in the game and switch the momentum. And on the other part, if you're down by a lot of points and the other team's up by 15, 16 with 4 minutes left, you're not going to be worried about them shooting a deep 3 with 15, 20 seconds on the shot clock. They're going to try to milk that clock down. But this also might make you play more aggressive as a defender to try to create turnovers. But generally, in a zone defense, playing aggressive is pretty terrible, because it only takes one person to get beat for the entire zone to collapse if everyone's spread out. But if everyone stays close to the paint, the zone area, the paint area is really well defended, and the other team will be forced to take long-range shots. So the reason why the number of individual fouls or team fouls is important is because fouling could actually be a good thing in many games, and it's normally just thought of as a bad thing. If you're a defender and your team has not many team fouls and you get beat and it's a tight game, it's most likely worth fouling that player before they get the shot off, because this will deny an easy opportunity for them to score. And if you do it before they're shooting, they don't go to the line, they have to inbound the ball. But if your team has more than 7 fouls, that's normally the limit. Every single foul that your team commits will cause what's called 1-and-1, and this is where even if you foul them across the court, they're going to get the ball and they're going to be able to shoot it once. If they make it again, they get to shoot it twice. And it's just like regular foul shots, but you could rebound the first one if they miss it. But the reason why 1-and-1 is really bad is because it gives free shots. But there's also certain moments in the game where people will foul, even if it's 1-and-1, to stop the clock, because it does change the possession. So if you foul someone, so say you're down 1 point and there's 10 seconds on the clock and you foul them and they go across the court, if they shoot the 2 shots and make them both, you actually get the ball back, and then you'll have, say, 8 seconds, or if you foul them at 10, I guess 10 seconds. You'll have 10 seconds to go down and shoot a 3. Whereas if you didn't foul them, they would just run the clock out and you wouldn't get the ball back before the end of the game. After going over all the rules and things you need to keep in the back of your mind, I'm just going to go over 3 situations and what tactical options are normally best suited for those situations. So if there's less than 5 seconds on the shot clock or game clock, as a now enlightened defender, you know that the person who has the ball, especially if it's a wing, is most likely going to shoot the ball, because with less than 5 seconds, unless there's a pass wide open that second, they're not going to be able to pass it and they're going to shoot. So knowing this, you're going to want to try to contest the shot and move up on them using this tactical knowledge. Another example would be if you see, the point guard coming down and he's saying words, right? Not like saying any words, but if he's like Michigan, Michigan or something, this means he's most likely setting up a play. And as a defender, especially a play against a zone defense, most of these plays are going to be pass plays to try to get to the open defender or the open player on offense. So what you're going to want to do in this scenario is stand your ground. You're not going to want to overextend. You're not going to want to overextend. You're not going to want to play up on someone too much. This is going to be you staying true to the zone, because you have to understand what the goal of the zone is, especially in plays like this. You want them to shoot the 3-point ball. If they shoot the 3-point ball, they make it, you gotta live with it playing the zone defense. You're there to stop close range shots, and you just need to understand that, especially against a designed play against a zone defense. Because most designed plays against a zone defense are going to be to create space within the paint for an easy shot, and they're not necessarily designed to get an open 3, because you can normally get open 3s for zones pretty easily. And finally, the last option is if you've been playing in the game a little bit and you notice that the player you're playing against loves to drive to the basket and loves to shoot, what do you do? What tactical advantages do you have to try to stop this player? And the best advantage you have is the zone itself. You're going to want to use the zone and your teammates to your advantage as much as possible. So if you know this player is going to try to make a move and shoot on you, you want to cheat your body. So you're going to want to turn like this and pretty much try to block off the outside from him. You want him to try to go through the middle of the court, because that's where all your help defense is, and that's where the zone is really dominant, is when the ball gets in the paint and there's 4 defenders and 2 people on offense there. That's where turnovers can be created, and that's where block shots, and that's where the zone defense excels. If you just start chasing everyone at the perimeter, or they get around more importantly, it's going to break down the zone, because you have to understand as a wing player, you're almost the outside wall, because if they get around you, the only thing behind you is their player and their post player behind you and the defender on them. And now going into practice, the practice drill we're going to do is we're going to have a point guard bring the ball down, pass it to a wing, and as a defender you're going to want to stop them from going to the outside, and you're going to want to force them to the inside down the middle, because most wing players will try to create something, and it's just the most important thing is not letting them get around you.